Coming up on the Wednesday edition of Carolina Week.
We'll take you inside a runoff election that almost went sour.
I'm Kate Schoen. I'll show you whether it's a good idea to drop your change into one of these.
In sports, think you have what it takes to be a Tar Heel wrestler? We'll show you just how hard it is.
Is warmer weather on the way? Weathercaster Rob Ellis is here with a look at your 4-day forecast.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the February 22nd edition of Carolina Week. I'm Shaheen Sayal.
And I'm Philip Jones. There's a new senior class president and vice president, but for a while it looked as if the campus was headed for another week of campaigning. Reporters Megan Smith and Hannah Gordola team up for what turned out to be a very confusing night for the Board of Elections.
After an extra week of campaigning, senior class presidential candidates Meg Peterson and Doug Weiss wait for the election result. But Board of Elections Chairman Nicholas Mosley made a surprising announcement.
The entire campus online system went down from 3:49 p.m. to 8 p.m. at night, a total of 4 hours and 11 minutes. It is the opinion of the chair of the Board of Elections that these could have affected the election results for the senior class officers.
Meaning another runoff.
The said election will be 1 week from today.
But Peterson and Weiss had a different plan. They want the results now. The BOE then went to a closed-door meeting, and so Peterson, Weiss, and their campaign staff waited. 20 minutes later, the final decision. The BOE unanimously voted to honor the candidates' wishes. Despite the computer problems, the results are in.
A total of 1,094 people voted today, and with 598 votes, Meg and Eric will be the senior class officers.
After a long night of waiting, and waiting, and waiting some more, Weiss says he's just glad he finally knows.
I think all of us were just ready for this to be settled. And I think obviously I'm disappointed with the result, but I'm happy that it's settled.
Peterson beat Weiss by 113 votes.
I'm really excited. I can't wait for, the next, year and a half. And I'm really pumped about it. I think it's going to be great.
Megan and Hannah join us now live. Megan, what was it like finally seeing the end result?
Well, Phil, I followed Meg and Eric's campaign for 2 weeks, so I saw all of the hard work that went into it. And last night was pure relief for Meg and Eric. They're both excited about making the class of '07 the best it can be, but they're also both looking forward to getting back to normal routines.
Hannah, does Doug regret his decision?
No, he doesn't, Phil. Doug tells me the way he sees it, the computer problems affected both candidates. So he extends his congratulations to Meg and Eric.
All
Phil?
right. Megan Smith and Hannah Gordola live in Carroll Hall. Thanks, Hannah.
Protesters have taken a broiling campus controversy to another level. The Muslim Student Association continues to ask for an apology, while the Daily Tar Heel continues to say no. Reporter Alex Cabe has the story.
What do we want? Fast! When do we want it? Now!
The controversy about Daily Tar Heel cartoons depicting Muhammad continued this week when students organized a sit-in at the newspaper's offices. Editor-in-chief Ryan Tuck welcomed the protest.
This is exactly the sort of civil action, the sort of general action that we try to promote. We're always telling people to, call your town council and raise a fuss and, stand up for this sort of rights.
Protesters chatted, studied, and prayed, and reporters from other press outlets swarmed the newsroom. Meanwhile, writers and editors continued to work on the Tuesday edition of the DTH. Staffers left a plate of cookies for the protesters, which they gladly accepted. Many of the protesters weren't Muslim, and some had larger problems with the way the paper is run.
I feel it's become more and more disconnected from the student body and from many of the interested student body.
Salma Mirza helped organize the sit-in. She says she has a plan if the DTH doesn't apologize for the cartoon.
We're prepared to go to advertisers and ask them to stop funding a student publication that attacks its students, though we don't want to have to go to that level.
Tuck says the paper won't apologize for printing the cartoon.
You can only gain a deeper understanding of the issue after that sort of thing, but the bottom line is still the bottom line.
A few of the protesters stayed about 7.5 hours and left when the DTH offices closed at 1 a.m.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Alex Cade, Carolina Week.
Protesters are also circulating a petition to demand an apology.
The latest domestic violence report from the Chapel Hill Police Department is raising some eyebrows. In 2005, domestic disturbance calls increased by almost 7% from the previous year. That's been the trend since 2003. The department's sexual assault and domestic violence specialist says that could be because victims have become more willing to file reports. Well, perhaps the Blue Devils aren't the only threats to the Dean Smith Center. The Department of Homeland Security says the 20,000-seat arena is vulnerable to a terrorist attack. That's why the department will give $50,000 to better protect the Smith Center from terrorism. The money is awarded to the university for video cameras, but the Department of Public Safety officials say the money won't be enough to get all the equipment needed.
Retiring Chapel Hill Town Manager Cal Horton has chosen a new transportation director. Stephen Spade is currently the general manager for the Des Moines Metropolitan Transit Authority, where he's been there for 31 years. He'll begin his new position in Chapel Hill in April. 1 in 5 Orange County school children will be attending a different school next year with the opening of the new Gravely Hill Middle School. The Orange County Board of Education approved a student reassignment plan Monday night. Students and several concerned parents pleaded for the board to delay the vote, saying they didn't have enough time to review the assignment maps, which officials changed last week. Stephanie Townsend's 9th grader won't be reassigned, but his friends will. She's not happy.
Being a freshman is hard, and they finally know where the classes are. They finally know the teachers. They finally know the principal, and they're just going to yank them out.
Board member Al Hartkoff cast the only dissenting vote. The deadline for getting your taxes turned in quickly is closing in. Are you ready? You might be eligible for free online tax help. Anyone who makes less than $50,000 a year can get free tax preparation help online through the IRS. These internet sites are just a few that offer the free service. For links, visit our website at www.carolinaweek.org. Phil, the web can really come in handy sometimes.
That's true, Shaheen. And a new calendar website is designed to give users a slice of life at UNC. Events from more than 600 official student organizations are posted on the site. It's a useful tool to find out when you can learn some new dance moves from the Ballroom Dance Club or try out your volleyball skills with the women's club volleyball team. You can also find out dates for religious, social, and athletic events. Orange County residents are coming together to make a difference in Iraq, one book at a time. In just 2 weeks, people have donated about 3,000 books to soldiers fighting in Iraq. World War II veteran Bob Patton is in charge of the project. When he found out on Christmas Day that a base of 30,000 soldiers had only 50 books, he got to work. He says volunteers have been essential to the project, and he's excited about the next shipment.
As far as the future is concerned, it is an excellent possibility or a highly probable that it would end up as a library maybe in Baghdad.
Patton is working with Iraqi citizens to ensure the books will be preserved for the public after U.S. troops leave the country.
The Keenan Flagler Business School is nationally recognized for its academic excellence. Reporter Will Johnson discovers the school's values of teamwork and community are paying off right here in Chapel Hill.
You wouldn't expect UNC students to be putting up shingles at 8 o'clock in the morning, but these business school students are waking up bright and early to work on this special project. The Keenan Flagler Business School has teamed up with Habitat for Humanity to construct a home for the Shaw family. The project, called The House That Keenan Flagler Built, began in early October. It involves numerous business school students and faculty each weekend. Manager Richard Turlington enjoys building this home with these students.
To be very good at taking direction and also very patient. Like every time I have to leave them alone for a while, they're very good at networking with each other and not having any trouble just sitting there.
While the business school may be difficult, these students aren't having a hard time constructing this house.
All around the house, the group is painting the newly installed siding, cutting pieces of wood, and arranging bricks for the bricklayers.
It's fun building things and, watching something get created as you work on it, and also just helping people out.
Event organizer and marketing chair Jen Graham learned today how to lay shingles and believes it's given her an outlet for her business skills.
I was part of marketing, doing the marketing for this, getting everybody involved, and we have PR and having people come out here and really get to see how the school is giving back to the communities.
Inspectors will come later on in the month to give a green light for completing the inside of the house. Even though these students already have plenty of business homework to deal with, they still manage to work in some Habitat volunteer time into their weekend plans. In Chapel Hill, I'm Will Johnson, Carolina Week.
Business school students will get their last chance to volunteer for this Habitat House on Friday and Saturday. Phil, a study that shows that fatty foods are okay? Now that's what I'm talking about.
Not so fast, though, Shaheen. For now, at least, we'd better stick to the diet and follow the food pyramid. We'll have details in just 60 seconds.
I'm doing it right now.
I do it all over town.
I do it every day.
We do it in a group.
I did it after dinner.
And you don't have to go to the gym to live a healthier life. Add more fruits and vegetables to your diet. Park further away and walk. Walk your dog. Walk with friends. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. They are doing it. And you can too. Start doing it today.
It can be hard to keep track of all the health reports that say what is and what isn't good for you. Medical reporter Kate Schoen joins us live with more about the latest major diet study.
Thanks, Phil. Scientists recently added to the confusion when they concluded low-fat diets don't lead to better health. But the study had a few holes.
UNC graduate student Erica Haney jumpstarts her weekend with Taekwondo. She complements her active life with a healthful diet that's low in fat.
In terms of food, yeah, I have to be conscious about it. I definitely have to, when I go to the grocery store, think, okay, is this something that's healthy for me or is this something that's not?
It's hard to say which foods promote health in younger women like Erica, because the widely publicized study only followed women older than 50. For those women, the study said low-fat diets don't protect against breast cancer and heart disease. Doctor of Internal Medicine Tom Kaiserling says we need to look past the headlines.
The way that many people may interpret that headline is that diet isn't important. And I think that's not the way to interpret the headline, because I believe diet's very important based on all the data that are available.
Diet's important because not all fats are equal, but the study treated bad and good fats the same.
Saturated or bad fats are found mostly in animal products, like these college favorites. They raise blood cholesterol, which increases your risk of heart disease. Poly and mono unsaturated good fats are found in plant oils, nuts, and fish, all along the salad bar. They lower bad cholesterol and protect your heart.
Another problem scientists have with the study, the researchers didn't set out to measure the effect of low-fat diets on heart disease, a weakness in research design.
Researchers we talked to said another weakness of the study was the women were followed for only 8 years. It might take a lot longer than that to track the positive impact of a healthful low-fat diet. So don't go running for that Snickers just yet.
All right, thanks very much, Kate.
Staying healthy during flu season is a difficult task. Student health workers say the campus is right in the middle of flu season, yet reports of the virus haven't hit the same peak as last year. Because flu season lasts through the end of March, Dr. Mary Covington says students should continue to practice healthy living habits. Touching objects used by others, like door handles and phones, can lead to infection.
Even if you're a young, healthy person and you develop influenza A, you can be very sick, for 5 to 6 days. Will you die? Probably not, but, it will make you feel very bad.
Covington says students should thoroughly wash their hands after handling common objects. A recent study shows that a new form of birth control might double your risk for developing blood clots. The study linked the Ortho Evra birth control patch with a rise in blood clots among young women. More than 4 million women have ordered the patch since it hit the market. The once-a-week patch is worn discreetly under clothing. Experts say the results are preliminary and suggest that women using the patch consult their physicians. Phil, will it be a boy or a girl? Area parents now have the ability to choose.
But there's much more to the procedure. The North Carolina Center for Reproductive Medicine is attracting attention for its work in pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, or PGD. This procedure lets doctors test in vitro embryos for genetic diseases before implanting them. Many of these diseases are linked to the sex of the baby. The use of PGD for sex selection is highly controversial, but center co-owner Dr. Gerald Mulvaney says sex selection is only a byproduct of a greater purpose.
From our perspective, anything that we can do to improve the odds of that pregnancy being successful, we're willing to do. And PGD is just another one of the many things that we utilize to accomplish this goal. As I said, and the sex selection thing is a byproduct of that. And, why not?
Currently, PGD can test for a number of diseases, including cystic fibrosis, muscular dystrophy, and leukemia. Well, weathercaster Rob Ellis joins us now, and Wednesday was an absolutely dreary day.
That's right, Rob. I woke up this morning thinking I was going to get Carolina blue skies, and instead I got those gray ones.
Well, unfortunately, we do have a few showers, but the rain kind of adds to the wintry feel of the day, and spring is still a month away. But check out these squirrels, these cute guys here, having a good time amid the early buds. And I'll have your forecast coming up after the break.
Where's the whole week? There's no whole week. Hey, excuse me?
Excuse me, sir. Something wrong?
Yeah, there's something wrong. You want to get me some whole wheat? Oh, come on.
Hey, hey, amigo. Hey, I asked you for whole wheat bread. This is not what I wanted. El Wheato.
Sorry for the confusion.
You know, that's the problem with these people. If you want to serve Americans, you got to learn to speak the language. You know what I'm saying?
No, sir. I don't.
Enjoy your lunch.
Imagine the power of one voice. Click freedomcenter.org to find yours.
Well, thank you for joining us for Carolina Week Weather. It's time now to take a look at our weather headlines. We've had lots of light rainfall all throughout the area for the past 24 hours, and unfortunately it does look like that's going to continue for the next day or so. But by Friday we should see some clearing, and as those clouds move away and that sun is finally able to peek through, we're going to see some warm up in the weekend. Let's take a look at the big picture on the national satellite map, and here is the system. It's a low pressure center centered over Georgia, and that's what's bringing us all this weather. We have lots of clouds socked into our area, and if we go to the southeast, we'll zoom in to see that this is quite an area of large clouds that are over our area, and because we have so many clouds in the way, it's going to take a little bit of time before we can finally push this out of our area. Now, underneath all these clouds, we are able to see some showers. If we look at our radar, you'll see that to our east, here's the area of moisture that moved through earlier this morning. But here over the Chapel Hill Triangle area, we're having a break in those showers at the moment, so it's kind of clear out there, although there is some fog in the area. But to the west, here's some more clouds and showers along with those that are going to be impacting us for the next day or so. So to start out on our Wednesday forecast here today, you're going to see our surface map is going to show this area of low pressure centered right here over Georgia, and this is going to be what's pushing through over the next day. As we move into Thursday, it moves off just a little bit, but look at all that rainfall that's in the forecast. It's going to linger around for a while, and as we move into Friday, we push that off even more, and over much of the southeast, the clearing is going to begin, and that's why we're going to see those clear skies for Friday. We'll wrap it up in the 4-day forecast. To start out on Friday, clear skies, and our temperatures are coming up a little bit. We're in the 40s here on Wednesday, but by Friday, we should move into the 50s, and as we move into Saturday, we just kissed the 60-degree mark, if you will, with partly cloudy skies, but our overnight low temperatures still low into the 30s, and that's going to continue into Sunday, more partly cloudy skies with our temperatures of around 58, and overnight lows very chilly, 26 degrees. As we part some of those clouds in the evenings, we're able to get very cool. As we move into Monday, we clear some of those clouds out, and 52 degrees for your high and 25 for your low, and of course, I know everyone is worried about the game day tonight. Now, I wore my NC State red. But for the game time, if you're making the travel conditions down I-40, please be very careful of the fog. And by 9 o'clock, it should be some light rain in the area and temperature of about 46. So it's still cool, but that's why that fog is in the area. So please be careful if you're making that travel plans down there. The forecast doesn't look so great, but they're playing indoors. So I wore my NC State red, and I see Mike there has got his
I've got
blue
the blue
on.
I've got the blue on, Rob.
Well, that's great. Well, weekend lows look a little chilly, but weekend sure does look beautiful.
It looks fine by the weekend.
Great. Thanks, Rob.
I'm just glad we have the two of us between you two guys. I don't know what would happen if we left you guys alone in the room together. But Mike is here with sports and a preview of this game coming up tonight.
Yeah, it should be a pretty interesting matchup. I'm feeling pretty confident that the Heels can get the job done. But coming up in sports, she's usually the smallest player on the court, but she also has the biggest impact on the game. After the break, we'll show you how Ivory Latta and the Heels did against Boston College.
Mrs. Johnson, good to see you again. This is Mike. You can trust him. He looks just like you.
I'll be sucking up to you in order to make you sign the loan.
So, here are your low monthly payments and interest rate as we promised. Here's where they triple. The rest of this is really just here so that we get your house when you can't pay us back.
Such a lovely house.
Predatory lenders are never this easy to spot. Call us and protect yourself with the facts.
Take a pop quiz with me. In what film did I feel a need for speed? What was my call sign? Who did I sit behind in the F-14? Oh, and one more question. Who does your kid sit behind in homeroom?
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school and know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Michael Crow. The men travel to state and the women host Duke. What a week to be a basketball fan. Two top 25 teams faced off in a big ACC matchup Monday night as Carolina hosted Boston College. But it was the smallest player on the court who stole the show. Ivory Latta helped herself to the ball right here, and she's off, going coast to coast for the lay-in. She had a career-high 9 steals in the game. But Latta put on a clinic, scoring 23 points, including that shake and bake. BC kept it close, however, hitting 8 threes, 4 by Kendall Dorsey. Camille Little answered, putting up 16 points. She throws in 2 off the glass right here. But it was Latta who put the nail in the coffin from deep. The Heels win 69-62. BC head coach Kathy Inglace didn't have an answer for Latta and the high-powered Heels.
She hit some threes, especially the one going into halftime. You just got to really contain her as much as you can and keep her in front of you. And, you know, she's going to create some damage. You just want to try to limit as much as you can.
Well, this should sound familiar. Duke and Carolina, the #1 and #2 ranked women's basketball teams in the country. And on Saturday, the two shades of blue will battle again in Carmichael Auditorium. In their most recent matchup, the Heels fought back from a 16-point deficit to claw out a 4-point victory. Erlena Larkins played strong, scoring 17 of her 23 points in the second half. Latangela Atkinson clinched the win, making key free throws in the final minutes. This time round, the pivotal players will be Miss Clutch herself, Ivory Latta, running the offense, and high-scoring Erlena Larkins down low. The clash in Carmichael tips off at 2 p.m. on Saturday. It will be interesting to see how the Heels react to playing in a sold-out Carmichael Auditorium. Carolina hosted Duke in the Dean Dome for the past 3 years, and the average attendance of those Dean Dome games was higher than the total capacity of Carmichael. Well, the UNC baseball team continues to heat up the diamond. Tuesday's game was a rout. The Heels came out in full swing against Coastal Carolina. UNC took an early 10-run lead after 2 innings en route to the win. Matt Spencer led the Heels going 4 for 5 with 3 runs and 3 RBIs. The Heels roll 15-0. Varsity athletes at UNC sacrifice a lot just to maintain their spot on the team. Sports reporter Cassie King shows us just how much varsity wrestlers have to sacrifice, both to make the team and to make weight.
Wrestling requires a lot of hard work, determination, personal sacrifice, and a whole lot of self-discipline, especially in regards to weight management.
In wrestling, weight is huge. It's a huge part of our sport, and it becomes part of your entire training process.
Senior captain Garrett Atkinson walks around in the off-season at 185 pounds, but wrestles in the 165-pound weight class.
I hate
cutting weight. It's the worst part about the sport, but it's also very rewarding once you weigh in at flat weight and then you can eat.
On top of hours spent in practice perfecting moves, these guys still have to worry about cutting weight. And what might be a measly extra cookie for you and me might mean more time in the gym for them.
You just kind of have to watch what you eat, and just cutting everything in half and shrinking your stomach. And then depending on if I have to lose weight, then some of us will stay after practice and jump rope or ride the bike, or I'll wait till after dinner and then I'll go for another run around campus.
To some people, this might sound extreme, but wrestlers, along with head coach C.D. Mock, believe it teaches them much more than slick moves on a mat.
It builds a lot of discipline, a lot of self-control, and if you can do that, there's not a lot of things that you can't do.
Atkinson thinks the rewards of wrestling by far outweigh the sacrifices.
It's physically and mentally stressful, but you know, if you can handle it, I mean, if you can be in here every day and go through the kind of stuff that we go through, then you will, you know, it's training for the rest of your life.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Cassie King, Carolina Week Sports.
Well, as we mentioned before, the Heels travel to state tonight. Since Roy has returned to the sidelines, Coach Roy Williams, the Heels have not lost to state, 5-0.
And that includes 82-69 victory earlier this season, right?
Yeah, hopefully they'll keep up the streak.
All right, thanks very much, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, Shaheen, lots of people think Chapel Hill is a great place to live.
But not that many know about some of the area's historic architecture. That story coming up.
Okay, here's a little pop quiz for you. Name any Oscar winner. Name one character from a Hollywood film. Easy, right? Oh, one more question. Name one character your kid learned about in English class.
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school and know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
The Ronald McDonald House is a nonprofit organization that provides a home away from home for families of children being treated at UNC hospitals. Since opening in 1988, the house has welcomed more than 1,000 families each year to stay at this safe haven. The house relies heavily on community support. How can you help? Become a volunteer. Help the house that love built. The Ronald McDonald House, the house with a heart.
Phil, there are some fascinating homes, older homes in Chapel Hill.
That's right, Shaheen, and a local group is committed to preserving those houses and their history. Michael Abronowitz reports.
The Horace Williams House at 610 East Rosemary Street is headquarters for the Preservation Society of Chapel Hill. Executive Director Catherine Frank says the society is doing some important work to preserve the history and architecture around the area.
Our modest and modern houses here in Chapel Hill tell us about the ideals and the goals that formed this place from its founding in 1793.
Frank says the homes at the intersection of East Franklin and Hillsborough Streets are an example of the community's historic diversity.
One, of course, is the president's home, and I guess is now Erskine Bowles' new residence.
The tradition of architecture that both attracts and supports the university community is one that Frank would like students to appreciate and pass on to the next generation.
It's about building a sense of community and a sense of place in a world where I think that is a very fragile thing.
From the Horace Williams House in Chapel Hill, I'm Michael Abramowitz, Carolina Week.
Maybe one day I'll own one of those beautiful homes.
They certainly are gorgeous, and I know sometimes I take them for granted driving past them every day up and down Franklin Street. But that's going to do it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.
Have a good night.